If you're trying to start gigging, maybe that's a goal of yours for 2026, you want to get out there and start playing some shows, I'm going to tell you exactly how I got my first shows. My name is Eric Andrews. I'm a solo gigging acoustic musician here in Northeast Ohio. And for the last about 8 years, going on 9 years, I've played about 120 shows a year as a side hustle on top of my normal day job. And I'm going to tell you what worked for me. I'm not a guru, I'm not a life coach, anything like that. I'm just going to share what worked for me. So to get gigs, the first thing you have to do is you have to get out there and get in the room. And what I mean by that is you need to network a little bit. So highly recommend, I'm assuming at this point, if you're considering playing some gigs, that you have some songs together. Highly recommend that you get out there and play a couple open mics. There's a lot of benefits to it. First, if you're not already doing it, first, it will shake off some of the cobwebs for you. And secondly, you'll get out there and network with other musicians, which can help lead to some gigs. My experience, I used to play a long time ago, back in the late 80s, coming out of high school. I was in bands and stuff like that. And then I quit playing music for a long time. Real life set in, and I didn't gig or anything for many years, 25 years. Or so I probably played the same 5 acoustic songs at home. I wasn't even a guitar player in my bands back in the day. I was just the lead singer. And then I became self-taught acoustic guy just around my house. I probably played the same 5 songs for 25 years. And then in 2017, 2018, I decided to get out there and start gigging again. So first thing I did is I played a couple of open mics, and it was really great. There was an open mic locally close to me that I went to. I was super nervous, even though I'm a little older, and I had played back in the day. I hadn't played in so long, so I was nervous. And I did record those open mic shows. And when I went back and looked at them, like, I was rushing, I was completely out of time and whatever. But it was a great stepping stone. One, I got to play some songs and got that out of my system. And two, I met a lot of musicians. One in particular was the girl that was hosting it. She played regularly at all the wineries. She was known for that. So she played a ton of wineries. I came to know her from playing a couple times up there. Sent a friend request on Facebook. She accepted that. And then I went onto her Facebook and looked at all the places she played, looked at their Facebook pages and their websites. And they weren't all for me, but most of them were places that I could write down as places that I could possibly play at. So that was very helpful. And then I met a lot of other musicians there and just got myself in the game a little bit. So that's probably the first thing I would recommend people to do. Find an open mic. They're all over the place. They're super cool. Once you get over the fear of walking in there with your guitar, just do it. Maybe the first time, just go and check it out. You don't even have, if you're not comfortable just jumping right in, just go and check it out. And then the next time you can go and jump in. So that's very important. The second point, or the second thing that I would like to share and how I got gigs, was you need to play that first show, even if it's for free. I know a lot of people would argue with me on that, and a lot of musicians kick back on that. Don't undercut musician. I'm not saying play cheaper than everybody else or discount your shows or anything like that. I'm just saying the first one, to get your foot in the door, consider playing it for free. Here's what I did. And another thing, before I get into what I did, as part of what I did, what I recommend people do is, it's kind of a funny bit of advice, but people ask me, why'd you get so many people to support you at the beginning and all that stuff? And I always say, you want to get a lot of people to come to your first show, join a gym, join a church, join a motorcycle gang, whatever it is. Join a group, and people are super supportive of their own. I did CrossFit for a while. I know I don't look like a CrossFit guy, but I did do CrossFit for many years. In fact, I still work out with some friends. But in a CrossFit community, when you're inside a gym, it's almost like a church or a motorcycle gang. Everybody is super supportive and friendly, and you become real close with the people that you sweat next to every day. You become real fast, and those people are real supportive. So my first show, I had a buddy of mine set up the show, calls me one day. He's like, I got you a gig. He found out I played he had a graduation party at his house, and sitting around a campfire, I played a few tunes. And long story short, he calls me a couple weeks later. He's like, I got you a gig. I'm like, got me a gig. I had no equipment, nothing. I literally ran out and bought a Bose stick and an iPad and basically everything you need. I'll probably make another video on that, all the stuff that you need to get rolling. But he called me, he's like, I got you a gig. So I went. This was a local place that had a patio outside, and they had musical acts on Fridays and Saturdays, I think probably during the week. And we booked a free show, didn't charge them anything, and booked it on a Saturday afternoon. So they had a band later that night, a band or a solo guy or whatever, but came and said, hey, he'll come at noon or 1 o'clock or whatever. Well, invited all the people from the gym, other friends, family, whatever, and ended up pretty much packing the patio. It was packed. In fact, the bar kind of underestimated. They had one bartender, and it was crazy. So much so that when that show was over, they ended up booking a couple nights right away, right off the bat. So I ended up booking a few shows through them. And one thing I did at that show was I had someone film it. Nothing professional or anything, just film it. And I used that footage to get more gigs. So I used that to keep rolling. I booked another show there, a paid gig, at the same place. And I actually had a buddy of mine who's in real estate, but also makes those videos for people who are selling their homes or whatever. Real creative guy. Called him up, and I think for dinner and drinks, he came out, filmed my whole thing, and made me a little promotional video, which I used for quite a long time. He interviewed me in between songs and or on my break, and then he put together a little video. So you can always do that if you got a friend in college or something like that, or such just good with cameras or whatever. There's guys out there that like that it'd be fun for them. Maybe throw them a few bucks or whatever. But use that first show, play that show for free, invite all your friends, film it, and then you can use that to keep rolling. So that's important. The third point that I like to tell people, or the third thing that I did, which helped me at the beginning, was I really treated this, although it was a side hustle, I wanted to be successful at it, and I treated it as a job. And maybe it's my background in sales or whatever, but I went about it. It was a job. So, what I first did, once I got that first show, I got that promotional video, I set up a YouTube channel. That's one of the first things I would highly recommend, is set up a YouTube channel. And even if you're at home with your iPhone, nothing fancy or whatever, just record 3, 4, 5 songs. You don't even need the full songs. You can do 20, you could make shorts and just do 20, 30 seconds. That's all. If you're going to show somebody what you sound like, that's all you need anyway. But most of these places, when you approach them, they're going to want to know what you sound like. So YouTube is awesome. You can have it right on your phone right there. You can send them a link. If you're in person, you can just hit play and go through a few shorts or whatever. You only need 4 songs. Pick songs that everybody knows. And I'll go over that in future videos, but what songs to play and whatnot. But YouTube is awesome. It's an awesome place just to store your stuff, even if you're not trying to make a YouTube channel or whatever. It's just a great place to just document and store your stuff. I put a lot of songs and stuff like that on mine. You can check mine out. And then I said I met that girl and went through her Facebook. I saw some of her mutual friends that were musicians, went through their Facebook, and I started to get an idea of what places did live music. And I made a spreadsheet on Excel and just wrote down the places. And then I made a template email, which I'm actually, if you go into the comments, you can get my template email for free. I'm giving that away for free. And just a template email that I sent out to everybody. I would go either on Facebook and go and message me if they had a message me button. Some places are active on Facebook. Some places aren't. They don't have much activity on their Facebook. But a lot of times in the About Me, it'll have their website. And you can go there, and then usually there's a thing there that says contact us or whatever, info at whatever their email address is. And I would send them that same template email. And then I would mark it down on this spreadsheet I made on Excel, the date that I sent that initial email. And then I would wait 2 days. And if I didn't hear anything, I would resend that email again. If I didn't hear anything again, I would call because I would write down the name of the place, the email address, and the phone number, which I could get easily on their Facebook page or their email or their website. And I would call and just a quick, hey, I'm a local musician here. I saw you guys do music and I was wondering who booked your music. A lot of these places are small family run places, so a lot of times the people that picked up the phone were the right person to talk to. But if not, it was direct you to a manager or whatever. And then if that still didn't get me anywhere, I would go to the place. Now, a lot of the guys that I know now, a lot of guys I know now that or manage wineries or restaurants or bars, they want you to stop in. I know a few guys that they won't hire you unless you stop in and introduce yourself and whatnot. So it's not a bad idea if you want to just go out there and do that. But so if I didn't hear anything and I really wanted to play at the place, I would either go there and listen to another musician that I know who play there on a Friday or Saturday or whatever, drop in for a set, and then just leave my card with the bar, or just go there on an afternoon. It's always good in the restaurant business or the bar business or winery business or whatever. Drop in between 2 and 4. It's after any kind of lunch rush if they're open for lunch, and it's before things start cooking in the evening. So between 2 and 4 in the restaurant business is always the slow time. So that's a good time to pop in and introduce yourself. So, but I definitely treated the whole process as a job. So when I first started doing this, I came back after not playing for a long time, and pretty immediately, within a few months, I had a full schedule. And like I said, now I play, we're in November of 2025. I'm already booked completely for 2026. If I don't take another gig, that's fine. I have like 120 shows. So that's good. But when I first started playing, I filled my schedule, and I had a pretty experienced musician that plays a lot of wineries and has a reputation of being a very good musician, good guitar player, good singer. She called me up and she's like, "Hey, how are you getting all these gigs?" And I was kind of surprised that she called me, because I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Hey, if you want to have a cup of coffee, I can tell you what I do or whatever." And we met and I had a cup of coffee. And one thing I told her is, like, I treat this thing as a job. I'm not the musician who sleeps till noon and just survives off my talent and expects everybody to call me because I'm good. I'm not like that. And I told her about my spreadsheet and how I'm very systematic and I have a process and how I go about getting gigs. And so that kind of made me think that a lot of musicians, whether they're younger musicians and are trying to do this as a living, or older musicians, it depends on what you want too. I know some older musicians they're just looking to play 1 or 2 gigs a month just for some extra beer money. That's fine. I would still have a system for that. But if you're looking to make a serious side hustle, either a side hustle to your job or maybe retirement income or something like that, this is a great side hustle. If you can put a few songs together and play for 3 hours and make, with tips, you can make $300, $400, $500 a show. It's real money. So have a great week. So I guess to wrap it up, that's how I got started. Open mic, free gig, don't sleep till noon, get up in the morning and have a plan, treat it like a job, and one show leads to 5, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So if you have any questions or whatever, put them in the comments, and I plan on sharing more of these types of videos. Just, again, I'm not a guru, I'm not an expert. You're not going to make 6 digits by following my advice or anything like that. I'm just literally here to share what's working for me and help somebody out if I can. So get out there, play a gig, and have a great week.